we load up the server, you know, find out the smokes.
Yeah, it could be a very interesting one if we go all 3 maps, because
Indeed.
that's kind of unfamiliar territory for both these squads. We haven't seen this full 5-man from forZe really take a tackle at it. Neither Mad Lions. So well, we're gonna have to see if we get there first. We could end up in 2-0 territory. I think the odds are certainly reflecting that Mad Lions are some sort of a favorite, but I've been more impressed, I think, with the forZe players, because there's a lot of critique about these younger guns, but when they played up against Big, they really showed up.
Well, they're going to have to show up over here now, Michael. Mad Lions obviously disappointing a little bit in the playoffs, like you mentioned before. A lot of people had big expectations, but it really was just the Smoo Crew. That is the unofficial name of Fnatic now, if you haven't heard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, admittedly, it's unofficial to me. But Jerry has been taken down. Saucel, the one to find the entry. Zorde trying to back off. Will get one before he fades away. He's got another backing him up. It's kenzie to quickly chime in with one. Can't follow up, and he has to go for the secondary swing, courtesy of a flashbang, but he still can't get the shots. Waro living on a breeze, but that breeze is gone. kenzie will take him down before being traded.
Both these players don't have armor here on the side of forZe, so this is really dangerous. They went for util instead, but the same can be said about these Mad Lions players. It's all about who gets the jump on who first, and Mad Lions are being cautious about this. It's cutting sound, they have access to that connector, they could have rotated back B, and so forZe are going to have to investigate.
Norway's going to be the one to lead the charge, and remember, Saucel, he's got a utility, but he doesn't have armor. Same with TMB, so Saucel, oh no, I'm sorry, buddy, but even if you had armor there, that's a dead man walking. Or in that case, standing. He wasn't really doing much walking. That's DMB's job.
Just a little too quick to it. This is a really difficult one now for TMB, because Nori could have just fallen back to the bomb site. Could be anywhere. 25, 23, in fact, seconds left here to make it into this bomb site. Can't exactly clear everything.
TMB coming in from behind. Will realize where the man is. 12 seconds. If he'd got the kill, there was a chance that he can sidestep behind Optimus and get the bomb down, but Shelfie takes that chance away. And again, Michael, you mentioned it. Norway finding that one kill inside the bathrooms is massive. Mad Lions can't get the bomb plant. They can't get anything done. And hell, they don't even use a lot of that utility they bought up.
Yeah, it's a great setup overall there from forZe. The double connector play there at the start, even though Mad Lions got the entry, you can see that there were contingencies in place with utility coming in, with the flash at Divider. forZe were ready to take those fights. Mad Lions could not just pursue and chase those players down. And now with them investing into the second round, Mad Lions are hoping to overturn this somehow. kenzie, in fact, straight into the guillotine, right into the Deeg of Borup, and that's a rifle that can be recovered.
Of course, they're going to try and prevent that. Zorte is moving outwards, but oh dear. That's going to be a big one. JL finds Zorte as well. Jerry, meanwhile, MP9 at the ready. Trying to find a quick one, but this is where he needs to equalize. Spots out the players. It's saucel to take him down.
Oh god, this is just falling apart here if you're forZe. Not only was your premium weapon, the only M4, the first player that hit the deck, but then all these subsequent frags in for Mad Lions. They have a firm path to that A bomb site, but there's a kill in response. Shelfie, aggro through the connector. Mad Lions are going to try and pick up the pace, but War's missed out on his scout shot. Looked like it should have been an absolute sitter, but this is the problem. Mad Lions have the bomb site. They have so many different post plants that they can play from. forZe don't even want to contest it.
And this is where, Michael, you know, just to go back to kenzie in the first round, and now over here as well. kenzie, sure, he finds 2 frags in the pistol round as well, but, you know, a lot of opportunities where you felt like he could have gotten another one and backing off. My question to you is, Michael, this is really one of the biggest matches for 8 players in this match to be playing in their lives, because, you know, EPL conference is a really big deal to all of these players, and Borup and Jerry are the only 2 players who sort of played at that level before, either team having one apiece. And the question really is that pressure going to be creeping up? It's not a grand final, it's not quite there, but the value of it to these players is massive.
Yeah, that's why I was bringing up that discussion earlier about how a couple of these forZe players even were talking about what success they had to even get to the semifinals. Like, their expectations would have been set pretty low all in all. But they've really been impressing. The Mad Lions guys, I think, have been a little less vocal. Maybe that's that veterancy from Borup. He's got high expectation, high hopes for the squad. It's certainly something that could play a factor. We're early in the morning, but I imagine this will stress these young guns out.
Oh, Shelfie's on jail. That's a big one on the boost, and that's the one rifle you had that needed to activate. Norby as well, secondary boost, and you've already put yourself in a 5v3. Now, Shelfie and Jerry both getting closer to being back to a 3v3, but not quite the equalizer.
Yeah, they're going to have to give up this control here on the side of forZe. See, with that low HP, they've fallen back, and now it's on Madlines to find out which of these paths is of lesser resistance.
Can I just say, Sawsol's camera looks like it's a movie camera from the 1940s, but Borup's down, Norway the one to catch him. Another frag for the CIS side.
He's got like a vintage filter on.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Like if he posts that on Instagram, it's pretty in place. Yeah. Well, okay, I don't know about that one, but
well, I mean, Sawsol doesn't know about what he needs to do right now either. Michaels, I guess you're both sort of on the same page.
Yeah, it's been a bit topsy-turvy.
Oh
my
Zorte. Yes, please.
God. There's no way they're getting away with a flawless round. Okay, Waro finally getting at least one kill right back, but Norway will not fall. It's 3 kills from him. This is the young guy that's really been impressing a lot of the analysts when we've been talking about this team. Sure, Kenzie has been taking a lot of attention as well for, like I was talking about earlier, some of the performances against Big. But Norway, I think, went under a bit more scrutiny. Started off a bit slow within the tournament, but since we hit the playoffs, has been heating up. And now, even with Madlines taking that second round, forZe answer right back in a way that Madlines couldn't really get the ball rolling.
Oh, deep Molly as well. Oh, follow-up grenades. Not quite going to be there in time, but at least Borup will have his back scratched. Not in a good way, Michael.
I think some of those nerves you were talking about earlier would certainly be par and parcel with someone like Waro. Feel like he's a hyper-aggressive player. You know, remember him for a lot of his flicks. But some of those did seem off when the pressure got raised against Madlines. Guess that's what happens when you go up against the big Smoo. I'm fully invested in this Fnatic roster just to flex my UK bias.
Are you on board with this move?
I mean, it's a bit of a tacky name. He's the newest guy too. Like, Berlin been there for how long?
Well, okay. I'm just saying. You know, when Berlin was there with a Swedish.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there a Swedish word for group that starts with B for the alliteration?
Probably. You know what? I should go find that out.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is the DreamHack crew's job. I feel like they can inform us better than any of your Googling could do.
That is
25
true.
seconds, and Madlines haven't really made up any pace towards either side, but they are postured for a B hit.
Shelfie's getting ready for it. Flashbang's not going to catch him out. There's going to be the first death. It's Norby down, but he's good for one before he goes. TMB ducks out of Shelfie. Spray Jerry, the only one to get a frag since Norby died, and now Jerry's going to step up, and with time ticking down, there's nowhere to go but up for forZe. They find the third round. Madlines do get a couple of casualties in on the forZe side, but not quite able to finish it off. That's beautiful from forZe, just having Norby in the position where he can always get that one kill with a spam, and second player Shelfie just playing anti-flash, ducked away, getting ready for the second peak. The fact that he doesn't get a kill there is surprising, but Jerry's at least there to clean things right up.
Oh, we're talking things that aren't really relevant to what's going on to the round. It's because Madlines weren't really doing too much with it. In fact, they only really held on to B-side control for the majority of that round. A player lingering in the connector, but no real initiative being taken. Now on the full Glocks, it's not looking too pretty. Actually, free kill. So they'll take what they can get. It's the only SMG that forZe had to offer, and there's no money being brought forward as a result of a kill on it. We're not getting the extra 600 cash injection. Madlines now looking to full buy, come into round number 6. forZe have really bounced back after what started off, honestly. Like, they win the pistol, they lose the second round. That's supposed to be terrible, but still recovering and keeping good poise here on the CT side.
And a little bit of that comes back to the idea that again, I feel like we're going to have to talk about this a fair bit. Madlines getting caught out in a few of these key rounds, and then when they're actually playing a little bit more together, when they're playing a little bit more disciplined, they're just not able to get the information they need from the CT side. forZe were very happy starving them out, not using too much utility. Great flashbang means that Jerry's found JL and TMB. I mean, he's just another man in the obituary.
Well, trying times here for Mad Lions. This is their pick coming into the series, and they're starting on the back foot again. Another 3-on-5 that they have to somehow navigate their way out of. If forZe had been fast towards that A bomb site, might have found some space that changes the dynamic of how this round could play out, but they've heavily reinforced. In fact, forZe are just full-on stacking it, it seems like.
Oh, no. Zarda's going to be careful with here. Of course, that headshot that you heard was just through a wall, so not the biggest of deals. In the meanwhile, great smoke to keep them at bay. They're going to have to keep themselves guessing for a while around it. Norby can just focus his attention on making sure he calls for rotations at the right time. About 35 seconds, War's got Jerry, but Kenzie in position, finds two from up top. Giving forZe a very lonely boy, and that lonely boy is now a dead boy. So forZe up to 5 rounds already on a pick that Mad Lions felt like they could have stolen away from forZe. I'm not going to lie right now, Michael. The other thing that we have to keep in mind is that Mad Lions went for the confidence play. They said, we're not going to pick Ancient. We're going to pick Overpass, and you'll probably be the one who'll force out Ancient, or it'll go to the decider. So in doing so, in going for that gamble, they have lost out their traditional first pick entirely. So Overpass really had to deliver for them. Maybe this is the map.
Yeah, this could be the map where Shelfie finds his first ace. That would be interesting. Why are you sorry for? He's the one that hasn't done it.
Yeah, I mean, really. Admittedly, neither have we, but whatever. We don't have HLTV profiles. You can't look up and find out whether I've had an ace or not.
That's true. Also, it's kind of crazy that exists, considering that when Shelfie was, I think, kind of first entering the scene, as at least recently, he played with Into the Breach, another UK squad, and he was kind of just carrying them through it. So I'm a bit surprised he hasn't found himself a 5K.
Who was the IGL for Into the Breach?
Adam.
Yes.
9130.
Previously the IGL Gamer Legion. So
indeed.
A player who knows how to play with, who knows how to work with inexperienced talent, and we started to polish them up a bit.
Telling you, man, the UK's on the rise. Invest now.
It is, Michael. Well, Michael, you know, I've got a bit of an aversion to the UK being on the rise historically, so I'm going to stay away from that investment for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, technically me too.
Technically both of us, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a pretty deagle, and Borb's going to be hoping to get some pretty shots with it.
Well, they do take some territory here on the side of Mad Lions. In fact, this is probably more space than they've had in their gun rounds. That's because forZe are giving those pistols the respect they deserve.
Deagles. Oh dear. Jerry just trying to fade away in the meanwhile, firing away as well, just to make sure, hey, please don't beat me while I'm backing off.
That's good manners. I turned away. How dare you snub me? 35 seconds, and they've got the utility for this. Spam on these Deegs, and the smoke's still there. They found a kill onto Kenzie on the bomb site, and Zorte scoped in. Oh, they creep through the smoke at the right time, but Zorte adjusts.
And Warrow's flashed up by his teammate Jerry, now fully blinded out, can't peek out to support, and Shelfie's there to trade. Sure, Jerry also picks up one, but now he's all alone on this bomb site while he waits for Norby to wrap around from back. Jerry's done it on his own. No, doesn't even need him. Norby, a bit late to the party, and turns out Jerry's drank all the booze.
That's the thing with Jerry, man. With this squad, he hasn't been a liability. Like, there's so many new guns that are probably fighting for spots, fighting for, you know, open territory. Quite often, in-game leaders, when it comes to so many of these rising talents, can kind of suffer. But Jerry is doing a whole lot of work by himself. Hasn't fallen behind in the statistics. Like, so often when players are on the rise, they have this firm idea in their mind of like what the initiative plays look like and when to do them, and they all do it at the same time. So has to kind of call them to a halt. Mad Lions, though, another gun round, and this time we'll see if they go for some of these protocols early on, but it's going to be disrupted already. Kenzie, one-way smoke, a gap around it, and TMB had no idea.
Arte? And this is why forZe been so good at finding these early ones, but Voro, for the first time in a while, has actually gotten the trade, Michael. Zorte is down and out. forZe is another player who, there's been some scrutiny off coming into it. He was supposed to be one of those big CIS superstar players to come through, and he's had moments to deliver for sure.
I mean, one of the more experienced players on this forZe roster, at least in terms of the forZe leadership.
That is true.
Him and kenzie.
Admittedly, not that experienced, but yeah, for sure. A little bit more mojo with Jerry, that's for sure.
Well, that's kenzie falling. So that 4-on-4 is now dwindled to only 2 players remaining here for forZe, but Guns being dropped here from Norway. He's, he's just left his M4 all alone, so he's down to a USP. It's a 2-on-2, and Shelfie really has to come up with the goods.
Oh, fully blinded out. JL's got to be careful. That USB. I mean, Norway is going to be regretting it, but maybe he can still make it work. Big questions around here. Double silence on either side. Where are you going to look? You can't hear them. Shelfie jumps out as well. Shelfie almost gets the adjustment to be ready for JL, but he's swift to take action and get back into the fray of things. I've got no idea what happened there, Michael.
Norway, what's happening?
Loses his weapon.
He's like slamming his keyboard. He's hit the G key. Just in a flurry, in a panic. Maybe he thought his life was forfeit. Oh, that's a... I mean, that potentially is chalked up to those nerves again, where we kind of highlighted it earlier on, but yeah, getting really flustered in the moment, it seems. And a crucial round here for Mad Lions. They get their first gun round. Zorte aggro with this AWP, but the molly hits him, actually puts it in a spot where it's not going to fully find him. And yeah, they're both blind, though.
Now, I don't know if that was a CT flash or a T flash. So either way, it could have either been a terrible flash or a fantastic one.
Who was meant to die?
forZe have run out of utility, though, Michael. They've got some smokes, sure, but only one incendiary. So if Mad Lions want to go for a B pop, which it does look like might be their intention, you can think about it. Now, Zorte spotting out that smoke is important. If I'm not wrong, you can tell where it's been thrown from, and he might be able to give a call for another rotation back towards that B bomb side. Jerry, you can see, is already repositioned to graffiti, and he is ready for it. He's the one with the incendiary, so for him to be here, that is a big deal.
Find a good timing here if they go early. Oh, they find a kill on Norway all the meanwhile, and this might be the chance to go.
It has to be Shelfie to step things up. Jerry, quick flash forward. Shelfie still fully blinded out the T side, well placed, but Jerry's rotation has netted him a kill, and he backs off. Shelfie now trying to step up, but Waro trades him out after just the one. Jerry's here to keep it going, but Waro's doing the same. Jerry trying to cross over fast enough to get some cover. Will finally find it. He's buying time for kenzie, but Waro turns around in time himself. Jerry all alone now, the 1-on-2, and Waro so far has been unstoppable, but Jerry misses the jump inside the smoke. Too much chaos for the movement to flourish, and Jerry on the other side is still being tagged, and he is going to be bagged. Waro takes it out with a 4K.
He just takes control of the round. Every single one of these forZe players that's trying to stand their ground on this B bomb site, players that are trying to rotate in to provide some help, Waro just locks in every single one of these kills. And you can see Jerry was trying to distract this con player, but how quick is that? kenzie just gets deleted.
Awareness to know that kenzie could be coming through just to get a quick backtrack, and then you combine the awareness with the aim. That's like that moment really looks like what I imagine every IGL says whenever they look at some crazy kid. Is like, if only I had his hands with my brain. That big brain, big aim.
Oh wow,
interesting.
DMB is one of the more experienced players as well on this Mad Lions roster.
Yes, I think he was on the Singularity team as well, right?
Oh, God.
A long time ago.
No, he's been flown around. I think I remember from AGF in particular.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, you might be right. It might have been AGF. It might have been AGF for sure, actually. Well, either way. Of course, TMB was definitely a part of the Copenhagen Flames at one point or the other, so, seeds of greatness, perhaps. Memory. Oh, Jerry, speaking of seeds of greatness, he's sown the seeds of a great round, finding the early pick once again. He's been fantastic, Jerry, so far.
This is a bit of an interesting setup. Really hoping that this AWP comes to fruition, but kenzie, in fact, will find it with the Deagle instead. ZorTe missed his line, and that means that they can run the other direction, go to what is potentially a less enforced bomb site. There are 2 rifles here, however, and so they should keep that in the back of their minds. boRup is looking to lead the charge, though.
Oh, Shelfie's repositioning isn't going to get him anything. boRup is guiding himself too. Jerry and ZorTe now wondering whether it might be better just to save, but Jerry's not wondering anything. Man's got a cape on his back, and he's calling himself Superman, but he comes through. And TMB is definitely not his kryptonite. Waro all alone, a 1-on-2. They've consistently been a man down, and Jerry's been the one to deliver them most of these advantages. forZe now just have to make sure they don't fall down to Waro. It's a possibility that has transpired in the past, and Waro knows that all he has to do is be patient and hope that Jerry and company make a mistake, but that mistake's not coming. ZorTe, he's peeking outwards. ZorTe covers Jerry's back, and he's able to get the frag in the round.
Yeah, great presence of mind as well, just to remain true to the setup. And there's that boost from the connector once again coming up to action. But boRup is really who gave them that chance in the round. He gets that double entry. We see that headshot percentage fleshed out. The stat coming at a great time, in fact. But man, if it's not for the madman antics of Jerry, they don't find that man advantage. Who jumps out of heaven like that? You lose 2 players on the bomb slide, and you're just like, why not? Let's just send it.
Oh, Kenzie, yes, please. So aggressive early on. Sure, it's traded out 1-for-1, but you get a fair bit of info off of it as well. Now, how valuable is the info? Can't really comment on that because still lots of time to rotate.
Kind of ideal. soulSoul doesn't have a gun in his own right, so he can recover one. Jerry's closed in on this gap. TMB knew that there was a player up close, and the flash timing is perfect. Jerry did turn away and took a lot of damage for doing so, but it gives him the upper hand in the fight. And so now this man advantage is falling towards his hands. ZorTe on the AWP is just too quick to the trigger. And now it's just soulSoul alone. He was hoping to rotate away from the action and instead needs to come up with something magnificent.
I mean, Michael, magnificence might be a bit much to ask for, but Jerry should at least be a free kill if he turns down. But Jerry is he's just too aware, Michael.
Spidey senses.
One thing I want to quickly touch on, Michael, is you can see a fair bit of Jerry calling out himself on Overpass right now. You know, he's taking a lot of agency in where he wants to go for the early peak and where he wants to go for, you know, who he wants to be set up with a flashbang over there. And because the IGL is the one doing that, you're generally going to get a much faster reaction as well on the team, especially in a younger team with comms that might not be as settled down as you want. Now, it's a bit of a temporary crutch, a temporary solution, because eventually on some point or the other, you do need all your players to be activating on a super high level. But right now, Jerry's doing a great job of dealing with Mad Lion's first pick by taking things into his own hands and calling around himself.
Utilizing that great experience that Jerry has. Definitely with you. We even had Tabson talking about it on his CT sides for Big. So it can be a big trust exercise.
Indeed.
For a squad.
Also helps just to not have comms cluttered up too much, because if you have someone else who's going to be the playmaker, be aggressive, which again, look, ideally if you've got your communication protocols down, it doesn't matter too much, you're all tagged up. But when you're in this position with your players, it definitely helps just for a stopgap solution.
Oh, great pick in from Kenzie. War wasn't expecting them to get so aggressive against these pistols, and now with the smokes coming through, or rather the singular one here for the Mad Lions, they're hoping to close that gap, and ZorTe's still primed with the AWP.
ZorTe, trying to get a close range angle. Tech 9 right around the corner, but ZorTe's found. JL keeps on going for the repeaks, and that's where soulSoul can punish. ZorTe not being present to the fact that there could be a secondary push coming in, and it's Jerry and Kenzie who have to come up and clean up, and Jerry's been cleaned up himself. boRup. Headshot after headshot. I'm telling you, man, it's the skins that get the wins.
Come on, give us a little bit more. Mama's hungry, and headshots on the order. 15 seconds, that bomb is in open territory, and now they're trying to go for these peaks. The SMG, 1 bullet's all that's needed. He's 2 HP.
The guy as well, just trying to commit to it. Kenzie will finish him off and find himself that third kill. Norway saves the op, but man, boRup is really making some of these mid-rounds expensive.
He's a little crispy. I don't know what he's been doing aim training wise. In fact, these pistols from Mad Lions have really been pretty scary. You can see why forZe treat it with so much respect, playing further back than in some of the other setups. Like you said, these aggro plays that Jerry is trying to facilitate. Already up to 9. Mad Lions, they do well to pull every other round left in this half, just to give them a bit more breathing room should we go into the second half. But forZe have just looked dominant in terms of going at least equal in these trades and going for some of these aggro moves themselves. Certainly hits different if all these young guns, as well as your sort of experienced in-game leader, are all fragging out. Who's going to step up for Mad Lions?
Oh, Kenzie.
He's alone doing this.
Around. Yeah, this is really dangerous. He could just be the first casualty to come through, and there's no one here to respond either. No one playing that divider side. Kenzie has to get a kill before he's raided. He gets 2. What? How does he manage to do that?
Oh, man. He was boxed in. He was boxed in. There's 2 players either side of him, and he fights his way out of the connector. Flash from Jerry was right on point for the first frag as well, so something that forZe had at least anticipated. 35 seconds, Mad Lions have to go B.
And Norby, he's here, ready to intercept. They're trying to fire into him, but there's a smoke. There's toxic barrels. You can't get past Norby. The bomb's been dropped as well. Just backs off, and Zorte's there to cover every single time. Mad Lions trying to get onto the B bomb site. The only way they can actually get the advantage is if Waro comes out with a magnificent set of kills, or if Borp's there for a quick double. And look at this again, Kenzie. This is where I'm thinking to myself, okay, this guy needs to get 1 kill, so it's a 4-on-4, and they still won't have the advantage because they've got themselves connector control. And suddenly, Kenzie comes out, knocks in the teeth of 1, turns it into an action movie. Steven Spielberg explosions going on in the head of the second, just gets it done.
Yeah, I was convinced that guy was dead, so he's done real well. Oh man, what is Jerry up to?
Oh, come on, man. This is just playmaking.
Are we sure? Are we sure forZe didn't pick this themselves? They look so well drilled.
Yeah, it does look like it. You know what, Michael? I feel like they were throwing you on a curveball. JL catches Jerry out. I think that way they were saying, oh yeah, we're practicing nuke in the injury. No, they're lying, Michael. It's Overpass. That's their secret
thing. They just look good on CT sides. They faltered against pistols, but now it's brought back to a 3-on-2. Well, it's equal numbers for just a second. There was a push over at B that was sussed out by JL. Another one of these stars that you're kind of hoping comes online here for Mad Lions. Has such a strong rifle alongside players like Sorsol, but Kenzie has been on a tear. 20 kills so far. Could find another as well. Both these players are low.
Oh, Kenzie, good adjustment, but while he's backing off, he neglects the angle in spawn, so JL will have a slightly weakened player to contend with. Now, as he moves through, Norby's on the other side, so this crossfire is going to be very difficult, even if it's one that he's not even going to end up contending with at the end. It's just Kenzie who takes him down. Another 4K, 22 frags.
They can't touch this man.
I mean, they can, but they just die for it.
Yeah, they need to really drive that dagger deep, because even on low HP, he's putting up some big kills. You can see the health certainly played a factor in a number of those frags, but as well, you know, using the utility when he knows that, you know, closing that gap is going to be a main priority for JL in the clutch. Some of the utility, okay, has been missed. We had a missed playground Molotov, now another one. But if players are hitting shots, it doesn't matter if some of these protocols are falling short here from forZe. They're in another man-up situation. Like, blink, you miss it. forZe are just firing on all cylinders. Every single one of these kind of spawn-based peaks that they can go for, some of them, they're taking them and they're winning them.
I'm still so impressed by this. I mean, Michael, it really is unreal. And Zorte, he's also going to be unreal. Fully flashed up, but gets his second. Right around the pillar he goes, and Jerry's already taken away that cheese. Zorte will miss out a shot on the other side. TMB there to punish, but that punishment might be temporary. TMB himself is going to be forced back. There isn't the manpower he'd like to have to work with. Oh, they are regrouping. Grenade at his feet's not going to do him any favors. Norby's even pulling out the Wild Wild West, trying to take it back over. Norby fully flashed, and he'll still be in a position to get the kill. Maybe TMB a bullet away from death, and forZe a bullet away from 12 rounds. They'll secure it for themselves. Mad Lions really need to get their heads straight. We'll be back after a break to see if they have. Back into things we go. forZe taking away 12 and Mad Lions is sneaky beaky pick. Mad trying to get pretty with a veto. Turns out forZe is getting pretty on the server.
Yeah, it's a little ugly, all things considered, here for Mad Lions. And this isn't like it's a map where they slouch down. You know, Skade, Entropic, teams that have very much surprised and been upset teams throughout the Tier 2 circuit. Mad Lions beat them. But forZe looking to cause an upset here on Mad Lions map pick. One of their strongest win rate maps in the pool. See if their T side can deliver in this much the same way. The game has moved more CT side. Let's not hash anything about that. You understand? Nades can be dropped. A1S, it's hella strong. But I don't think it's 12-3 strong.
That is always the question, isn't it? Oh. That's an interesting... I don't know if that's intentional, but I think he just bumped his head on the toilet entrance, so he gets a quicker peek into the toilet. But Waro, for now, just losing out some bullets, losing some weight, trying to get himself a bit of extra movement speed. Doesn't work like that.
He really wants to force this fight.
Yeah. He knows that he needs to ask for rotations to come through quick. They're playing from a retake position, and this one smoke could really block them out as well. Flashbang primed and ready to go.
Yeah, it's also smoked off. Waro can basically not hold within the bomb site. They've got the nades lined up to try and deny this plant. Jerry does have armor, so he should survive it, but actually no, double nade artillery is right on the market, so they have that man advantage. They're moving through the smoke, and Norway, he can't hold the line for long enough. Zorte's still in a dice. The players are coming in thick and fast here for Mad Lions, and now they have to try and play the close plan here on forZe.
Kenzie, Shelfie, the only ones left. Shelfie trying to play it out. He's got a clock, not the best of weapons to have in this situation. They're trying to get the defuse. TMB rather. Will take his teammate down with him, but that's just a celebratory clap in the back. He didn't realize how hard it would end up being. Mad Lions, so Michael, the double nade taking away Jerry is a big factor. The early advantage, and then Saucel pushes out from behind it afterwards as well. Norway only good for one, and Saucel, these quick two and on the step out are massive. Kenzie going down there as well. And you know what, Jail, I'm sorry, but that's just how life goes. You are just a casual.
Yeah, just in the excitement, that's fine. It's no big deal. But yeah, it's good to see that Mad Lions had this retake setup in mind with the double nades. Certainly showing some of that drill work, understood exactly what the weaknesses were of that pistol as well. Now we see the force buy. Not the Eagles. Of course, they got that bomb down so they can get these Galils out. And Force trying to take some space in towards short, but it's the dink on Jerry. Not enough for the kill, in fact. And so Mad Lions start a man down yet again. How many times have we seen this game already that Force has come out with these solid entries?
And there goes the quadruple Galil, I suppose. Mad Lions. I mean, they did win out the force buy round on their own right on their terrorist side, so it's only fair that Force get a chance of their own. Jumping up with the MP9, trying to get a quick kill on the Kenzie, Michael. And you talked about this before. Of course, a lot more teams doing this with the SMG, but Kenzie was healthy enough to not be entirely phased out.
Yeah, it's super annoying to deal with. MP9 is one of the best jumping accuracies of any automatic weapon in the game. So how can you reciprocate the damage? Oh my goodness. It's like triple dinked through the side of the connector.
Sorry, buddy. Just how it goes sometimes. The cookie has crumbled, but who's going to eat the crumbs off of it? The question is, forZe, with 35 seconds, they did find the early advantage, but now with only a couple of flashes and TMB playing this close and personal, he could really make things difficult. Hell, even JL's rotating back.
Smoke at the front side of the bathroom, so this two-pronged assault not great, but that's a gap around the smoke. TMB's hoping that they can hold his back.
Oh, TMB caught out Kenzie, takes him down there, and then Saucel, the man of the hour, the previous hour. Question is, can he step up over here? Doesn't need to. Waros dropped the bomb, and they can't get to it in time. Jerry begging for death, and it'll be delivered. Saucel, long range with the M4. Take him down. Would have liked to see him maybe just stagger it out a bit more, make it so Jerry is forced to not have money in the next one, but of course that's its own risk.
Yeah, back-to-back rounds where Saucel's contributed in a pretty big way, not only finding kills on the retake on the pistol round, but then these initiative plays over towards short really got himself in a great position where he could cheat over on this rotate. Another 3K. Now we see forZe take the step down into Deegs. The big question is going to be whether they can counteract what Mad Lions are going to offer in terms of these aggressive setups. The forZe are all too aware how successful some of these aggro plays can be, considering the half they just had themselves. So whether or not they fall victim to it, it's going to be a massive ray of hope if Mad Lions can get that one under their belt.
Waro, careful. Now the Deagle on the other side could really be problematic. And guess what Kenzie shows us. Waro now caught in between two, but it's been one-on-ones delivered to forZe. Where's that coordination from earlier? Okay, that's one way to do it.
Real labor there from Jerry. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to use all 7 bullets and you're going to be gone, but you'll need to find 3 more. Preferably injected into the cranium of these Mad Lions players. Bomb is making its way through the connector down that ladder, so that does bypass the aggressive maneuver that JL has pulled over towards B. Could have potentially found a path into this B bomb site, you know, snuck his way through. Ain't to be though. 30 seconds and Jerry has to, at one point or another, make his move, either getting this bomb down or dying. You know, we talk about that being one of the ideals. Just find his hands onto an M4. Actually could opt for the save.
I don't know if I quite like this, though. Okay. Doesn't really have any impact. They all have rifles, but at the very least, you know, it looks nice on stream.
Yeah, Borup can't upgrade away from the Galil, so, you know, minor repercussions, I suppose. I think he did consider the save, but if he had armor and he had that amount of money left over, he probably would have gone for it. But the fact he would have to invest in armor and then the nades, he wouldn't have had enough. So opting to go with that line instead. forZe, of course, can buy up the full weapons. AKs are out, every bit of utility that they could need for an execute, as well as some of these early protocols. Soulsoul trying to line up a spawn nade, but gets there far too slow to actually make use of it. Over in towards short. Warren's actually just spotting the arm, and that's identifying where the AWP is here for Mad Lions. forZe can play around it.
And this hyper-aggressive connector short combined play that Mad are going for will mean that forZe have got free real estate over towards A long. Now, how much of that will they actually choose to occupy? That's a different story altogether. TMB will spot out Jerry, stops the boost from happening, and he himself goes trailing back to toilets where he's quick for a frag. Kenzie got shut down.
Great Molotov in towards long as well. Nades have been thrown over here from forZe, so they actually want to scale up alongside this. They do have another set of smokes, so they can re-exec should these initial bits of utility expire. Redeployment, making sure that Warrow's got a bit of a difficult hand to play. Leg onto Zorte, so that's the AWPer showing his metal, and another smoke being deployed, but they're trying to cheat around it. Jerry goes for the peek instead. Surely the tag player goes for a shot like that, but instead forZe are down to this 3-on-5, and it's all these young guns that have to show what they're made of.
And with 30 seconds left, Warrow is found through the smoke. That's big. They don't have any utility to be able to flush out Borup and TMB unless you've got a perfect Molotov lineup for it. And it does look like they've got it in mind. And the Molly's going to force out TMB, who's down, but Borup quickly steps up before stepping right back down. Shelby all alone, a 1-on-2, just nothing to do. Bomb on the other side, cannot recover, and instead he'll go back and duck for cover. forZe yet to find a round, Michael, and you can see the difference between now and their CT side, where Jerry gets to control everything on when he's going for a peek, when he can ask for a flash, where he's the one who's really deciding the pace and how they want to play it out. Now, you go for a peek like that, your teammates aren't ready to flash for you.
Yeah, exactly. And you see TMB as well, not only fancying a peek over at long, but then re-navigating to take this find towards the bathrooms. I don't think Kenzie, or I can't remember who's on the other side there for forZe, but the player wasn't ready for TMB to make that maneuver, and this is some of the issues you'll encounter on the T side.
Just the ability to give information from one place to another becomes a lot more difficult, because now instead of having to, on CT side, one of the primary calls you're looking to make is, hey guys, can you rotate from the other side over here, or can you flash for me to take a peek? On T side, the call has to be, okay, we just spotted him out on long, could be rotating back over here, while you're also making, okay, where at this point, okay, this is how we need to go. All of them combined, the amount of communication you need to have gets significantly higher when you're not used to setting up those protocols in a new map. So, yeah.
Yeah, you'll have certain flashbangs you fancy, or you prefer, at least for specific T sides, or to deal with specific players on CT sides. Dealing with some of these close corners, maybe the back of Dice, maybe it's the AWP of Warrow. And so can players put themselves in those positions early enough to actually throw those flashes? Do they remember all the lineups? Do they, there's a deeper well of information you have to pull from at a moment's notice. So if Mad Lions continue to apply that pressure just as forZe are setting up, that is only going to be more and more fruitful.
Oh, that looked like it could have been on point.
Yeah, I really thought Warrow was going to have his money, have it made.
Well, cake's not quite baked yet, but maybe in a bit. Borup, though. Very similar to how they were getting aggressive with the double connector boost up. Borup's been having to prioritize the short push out. Good flash, though, and JL's there to cover up regardless. Borup, they're not fast enough to take him down to adjust for JL, and now that JL has gotten closer to smoke, he moves. Boston Shelf intercepts, only to be traded by TMB. Norway hoping that he can block out an AWP from heaven, but that's going to be a hard win.
Well, away from B they'll go. Jerry's backed himself out and can be an active entry man onto the A-bomb site, trying to provide a bit more space for Norway to operate. They have the utility as well. They could section off Warrow, who's less and less likely if these smokes do meet him to sort of cheat himself into the bomb site, considering he has an AWP and he knows they're not on a full buy. Trying to contact through though here on the side of forZe, so right into the scope of Waro could be the play.
Oh, I really like this from Waro. He's just so ready for the utility to come through as well, consistently spotting out from over on top of the garbage bin as well. Norway now tagged and finished off by Soulsoul. 8th round on the board for Mad Lions. forZe have lost 5 in a row, Michael. This is not looking like a happy camp for them.
Maybe it is 12-3 favored.
M4A1 too strong confirmed.
It's definitely just the weapon. I don't actually subscribe to that, just in case you couldn't tell by my tone.
That sounded like your hype tone. You're lying to the people, Michael.
Oh, well.
TMB. Oh, I like this adjustment coming out. We saw Jerry do something similar to this before as well. Warwick's just making sure that they can't push through while TMB is getting some space in playground. The gap below the flank will give him information, but the spray transfer is what gives him the kill. Medley is traded out, so the usefulness of that is somewhat more limited, but Warwick backs off and he's hoping to bring things back a bit more heavily in their favor.
How TMB is even able to get a kill there? Like, he missed the first few bullets on that spray transfer. Felt like Zorte should have gotten the drop on him, but the infamiliarity, unexpected that TMB would be up so close, so just caught off guard. They ain't healthy here on the side of forZe, in spite of the fact that it is 4-on-4. It could be forecast a B-sided play. Bombings, of course, position that direction with kenzie, who had a monster first half, but has yet to put up the same level of performance here on this T side. But that's where all of these issues for forZe have certainly been. They do have the utility for this, but they're actually, again, going to see if they can just sort of catch these Mad Lion players out and use the flashes instead.
JL's going to start to peek forward. He's been fantastic around this pillar, and right now he's got cover as well. Soulsoul to back him up, and a shadow shown as a shadow down. Chelfie lost a full, and forZe will keep 4 alive, even if JL's barely got a limb to stand on.
That's one of the difficulties if you're not going to smoke out heaven, is that when this pillar player is in position, you don't have to worry about the players creeping out monster in much the same way. Like, JL almost loses a fight when a player is up close, but has the support at distance that it just doesn't matter. So forZe trying to make use of the 2 flashes, hoping to hold on to some utility for a post plant, might have been a little bit greedy.
One way of putting it, for sure. TMB getting aggressive. Man, this is where you really have to punish him, but that scout just not able to do so. Instead, Zarda's going to be wiping some blood off of his arm and hoping that it won't hinder him too much.
I think all in all for Mad Lions, we're seeing a much more distributed contribution from the CT side. A little top-heavy for forZe on theirs. Both sides having a lot of issues on the offensive portion. Flashes are good to at least deter a couple Mad Lions players back away from these bathrooms. But look at the pace. forZe are looking to speed things up and see if they can catch a timing.
This could be their moment. War's very close. If they can get a quick peek out onto Soulsoul, swarm him down, there's possibilities certainly opening up. Quick smoke and Molotovs to go forward. This is where the execute comes, and Soulsoul just gets aggressive. Spots out the player jumping past Divider as well. He knows where Norby is. He just had to wait, but Norby still gets it. TMB now has a Molotov to cover, but the scout on the other side is not going to be standing for too long. TMB, second peek out, and kenzie all alone. He gets the shot. That's all he'll have. Mad Lions getting double digits before forZe can break their first round on their terrorist side. Who would have thought it?
Yeah, and Mad Lions aren't exactly going the same way about it as well. You know, they're playing a much more defensive setup. If they can, they try and enable players like War to go for some of these opening picks, but they don't hover around for too long. Very often we saw forZe try and get in their face on some of these early kills, and they wouldn't sort of concede that control unless they had found an advantage. But Mad Lions, when it comes to dealing with these executes, or what I would actually even just call like half executes from forZe, they're not only meeting them with counter utility, they've got heavy rotations. They're not respecting the smokes the way that forZe, I think, anticipate. And Mad Lions are really just coming up with big plays around these smokes as well.
The other thing to consider also is that for younger players, there is a certain inertia of form in how well you're playing. And very often when that inertia is broken, it sort of settles on the other side. So now I'm starting to get a little bit more worried that are we not going to see people like Kenzie, people like Sorte, people like, Norway activate now that their T side has gone so overwhelmingly poorly. This is where you need them the most. And Waro, I mean, Norway's down. Knife out is a questionable decision if I'm being fully honest with you. But hey, Sawsall's behind him. Even if they commit to connector, they've got sort of a crossfire between him and Borup. Not exactly, but kind of. Sawsall's made a bit of noise too, so they know where he is. And Jerry peeking out will find it.
Well, that's not how they expected this one to go. They were anticipating a much more standardized default here from forZe, but more connector focus. They've come away with a man advantage. Now aggressive through the bathrooms here on the side of Mad Lions, and they bypass the first player round the corner over at those benches. If they get outside the connector, they're going to realize that there's a player right behind them, and that's Kenzie finally dealing with that and acting as Overwatch on this bomb. Jail is still hovering, trying to make sure that this doesn't fall out of their hands, but it doesn't matter. It's all going the way of forZe, and it's the in-game leader, Jerry, to come up with 4.
And you just have to wonder, War, if he doesn't put that gun away, pulls out the knife, maybe there's a situation where you can get a quick scope out as well. But Jerry, I mean, this second kill on the Sawsall is really what helps him out. And then Bora peeking out, trying to move past the smoke before it blooms. He just gets caught out completely.
That's one of the few times that we actually see Mad Lions commit to a far more aggressive play on the CT side as well, and they're immediately punished for it. Just these small bits where there's kind of lacking information and getting caught out. I mean, that's why we see more defensive setups.
Yeah, Mad Lions have definitely been very quick to flutter away the second they've been disturbed. Really using the traditional advantage of Overpass with lots of angles to retreat into and then having smokes around them, like you mentioned earlier on. Jerry, though, now pulling out the secondary op. Norway's got TMB down. That's a big one to find. And Jerry, with his position not to be revealed just quite yet, he will still be opting for a retreat.
Yeah, this is the double op from forZe. Jerry really wanted to find some sort of entry as a result of maybe a faster timing in towards short. Didn't seem like Mad Lions were all too privy to it, but he didn't find anything. Now they just kind of have to float with the secondary op. And if you thought breaking into the bomb sites was hard enough already for forZe, they had a few scaling issues. Now double ops are going to introduce a whole lot more rigidness to the way they want to pace into the bomb sites. You want a bit of fluidity. You want to sort of sail in alongside smokes. Those ops aren't going to be great at doing that.
Good time on the smoke. 35 seconds. Y'all can move past and play up close and personal.
That's a shadow advantage as well as they try and creep through.
And they don't have flashes to try and keep him blind while they will start to scale. Michael, that scaling's going to be a real problem. Molotov is also great.
20
JL
seconds.
is just... I mean, he's got this B bombs under lock. There's no way you can move past. Molotov doesn't actually cover the full aggress forward, so Jerry could have moved in, but he doesn't know it. But Jerry just gets on a bridge so far that he can clamp down on Jail's head and get the bomb planted. Mad Lions are saving.
I don't think they were fully convinced that it was a B hit.
It didn't look like it at all, because if you're considering the fact that, hey man, your guy just smoked her off at 35 seconds, he's put a molly down at 25, that should be your round to win as a CT side, but like you said, just didn't have that information that they felt they could rely on.
I'm surprised there's not somebody floating heaven to provide them at least a little bit of support, but thought they had a read that forZe have somehow bamboozled them with, and now they're up to 14, where they had struggled to even register one round previously. Now they get 2 back-to-back. Mad Lions had to save for the good of their economy, but even still, buying up around these recovered or these saved weapons will be difficult. And it all started with the breakdown of the boost. Just a bit of a misread in the late round. I wonder as well, with especially now seeing the buy come in from Mad Lions, we get the SMG out on JL. They want to really fight for this one and keep forZe away from 15. And so does that mean they go back to some of these more aggressive setups and making sure that there's disruption here on the forZe default? Seems to be the play.
We saw this particular boost getting them quite a few kills on the forZe side. Mad Lions not having the same success. Norway's even pre-firing for it. Wow.
Just in case.
Don't even think about it.
To master your greatest weapon, you must also know its weaknesses.
Okay.
I'm sure that's a saying somewhere. I made it sound like it was a quote, but...
Yeah. Like a quote from the dude who taught Batman. Ra's al Ghul, I think his name was. But yeah.
Yeah, that could be it.
Mad Lions, though. They don't have any Ra's al Ghul to take them through. They've got to do it their own way. Smoke down on the outskirts of Monster Tunnel as well. And this time they're definitely going to be a bit more committed to it. TMB nearby as well. And Zorte finding Soulsoul might actually pivot the entirety of the T side, especially when you consider Kenzie's got this much space back and they still have connector control. They can start making a move very soon.
Mad Lions wish they had a Lazarus pit, bring these players back from the dead, or at least revitalize them. But being a man down, especially with the forZe players now grouping up over towards B, again, forZe need to speed things up. Down to 20 seconds once again for this execute, and things cannot go wrong.
And Borup's going to have to start to peek out, get those frags in. JL's there to bait as well, but Borup is already down. Jerry's second up is getting it done. They've got every advantage necessary. And Jerry covering that angle in such an unorthodox position, which you're just not expecting. JL and Borup thought they had it down to the count. Just, hey, I'm going to peek out with the MP9. If I die, you get the kill. No, absolutely not.
How do they get away with it again? Like, basically all that needs to happen is that bomb needs to hit the deck probably one time. You know, in and amongst the chaos, there's additional seconds where that bomb can't be planted. That's all that needs to happen. And now War's trying to save his AWP, and while he will be allowed to get one kill, the bomb blast might just finish off the job.
Good. Well,
not even necessary.
Kenzie really trying to drag himself up to 30 as well.
But these are setups that have worked for Mad Lions so far on the B-bomb side. It's just that forZe, I think, are actually committing to more executes. Sure, the timer is a bit of a problem, but you could see as well, Mad Lions are throwing some of their utility at about that 30-second mark, and that's what forZe, I feel like, are waiting for. It just means that there cannot be any divergence from their plan. There cannot be any blockade or road or speed bump as they're actually pacing their way in. If they get every single entry, there is no resistance.
And I have to start to wonder, Michael, even in that previous round, we did see a kill coming out early on with the AWP from Zorte on A long. I mean, maybe they just weren't expecting that second. Maybe that's why they go for that particular setup between Borup and company. But Borup and company is about to be just company. Borup is down. JL, another time an MP9 in his hands. This time he's hoping to get a bit more done with it. He's been fantastic playing from short so far, but these past few rounds have been more labored, to say the least.
They need something. Just information to play off at the very least. Some kind of X factor, but forZe are going to flush players out of position. JL has to commit to the wide swing. Flashes will be there to at least stop them from scaling in, and War actually finds one, but it's reciprocated. TMB, the Deagle does nothing, and forZe will find themselves into a map win. This is Mad Lions' map pick, but they made that CT side look so good, and then they finally found solutions towards the tail end of that second